who made it to the workshop today. What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Emotional Workshop, your forever safe space to chill, feel, and heal. If you're new here, I'm Katera. I'm hella emotional, and I created this workshop for us to be able to have a space to sit in our shadows, reflect on our thoughts, and come out on top. What's up, everybody? What's up? Y'all, we have made it to the season finale, okay? We made it 10 episodes, self-healing, self-help, self-love. We really just put this work into ourselves this season. I want to take this moment to say thank you to each and every one of you guys who have listened, who have did the work for yourselves. I want you to stop and be like, you know what? Thank you, self. Thank you, past self, for getting me to this present self, because without that work that we did back then, we wouldn't be here right now. So stop for a second and give yourself a pat on the back. Go us. Go us. So, as you guys know, this season we have talked about a lot. We've talked about meeting our goals and expectations, being scared of success, our journey through growth and healing, why and how we get distracted from our growth, how to take a break so you can take a step back and make your real dreams come true, how to change your life, and how to pick what's best for you instead of figuring out what you don't want and choosing what you do want. Okay. And though all of these topics tie into self-love and loving yourself and knowing how to treat yourself, we didn't really have a deep topic on self-love. So that's what this season finale is about. We are diving into self-love, and we're really bringing it home for ourselves so that we can feel that full completeness of healing, that full completeness of growth and love and self-help, and just being one with ourselves. So before we get into any of that, because I'm pretty sure the reason why you clicked on this is because of the title. Before we even get into all that, we're going to go ahead and get in my business one last time for this season. You know what I'm saying? And just see what I've been up to. And we're going to spin the block. Let's go, y'all. So you guys already know that this season, my life kind of been all over the place. I mean, I feel like my life is kind of always over the place. It's never really a time where it's just like everything is one way. And I don't think I would ever want that either. So regardless of what's going on, I live an eventful life and I'm happy about that. So we know that I've been up and down with my whole career, what I want to do. But in the midst of that this season, I have, just relaxed, let ideas and thoughts come to me, also mingled with friends, and just felt myself again. Had some fun in the midst of trying to figure out what my next move should be. I've just been living life. And now I'm in the season where I'm just like, I'm ready to make a really, really big change in my life that I'm not ready to get into the details about, but I can give a broad description of. I'm just ready to change my career field, as we already know, and ready to embrace the unknown. And that is something that I always talk about in these podcast episodes from season 1 until this season. Embracing the unknown, being uncertain, and if it scares you, doing it twice, right? Like I've always said that if it scares you, do it twice, because the reason why you're scared is because you're uncertain as to how it's going to turn out. You're scared of the unknown, and you want to stay comfortable in the predictability of what you already do and what you already are involved in, right? Instead of going towards that thing that scares you. But it scares you because you know you want it to work. And if it doesn't work, you feel like your biggest fears are coming true, or that it's going to be way worse than you're even imagining. So I'm just in that phase of life right now where I'm like, I have to make a change. I have to do something different. I have to go after what I want. And I can't allow external things, people, places, factors in my life to stop me from going towards what I want. Because if I wait until everything around me is perfect to make a jump or to make a leap, I will probably never leap, because there will never be a time where everything is perfect. I literally just said my whole life, there's always something going on. So if I literally waited until everything just calmed down and everything was right in the right spot, I will be here forever. And I don't want to be here forever. I like it right now. It's cool. But I also have dreams and aspirations and desires and goals that I want to reach and things that I want to do in this lifetime. And There's an invisible timer, there's an invisible clock that we can't see that will end all this. Okay. It will end it all. And if I leave without doing the things I really wanted to do, I don't know how I would feel, but I really feel like I would be disappointed about it. So I'm going to go after them while I have the chance, while I'm in this present moment, present day, what I'm thinking about right now, what I'm feeling right now. I'm going to leap towards that. And I hope to come next season and tell you guys, you know what? That big leap of faith that I took changed my life. Okay. I think it's going to change my life, whether it's good or bad, but I really think it's going to be more positive than negative. I think my brain, and I'm an overthinker, so I think my logical side is just like thinking of the worst things that could possibly happen with me taking this leap. But my heart and my intuition are like, it's the right thing to do right now. It doesn't matter what else is going on in your life right now. This decision needs to be made in order for you to progress and go in the direction that you want to go in. So, yeah, you guys, wish me luck. Cross your fingers for me. Give me a hug through the screen. Because I'm about to shake some shit up. I'm about to shake it up and unapologetically while I'm doing it, because I'm choosing me as I deserve and as you deserve. You deserve to choose you as well. So, yeah, leading up to right now, we're about to go into our harvest season of the fall, and then we're going to retreat back into work mode, or it's like relaxation mode. I try to think of like the animals, how they hibernate in the winter. We're meant to hibernate in the winter too, but because of capitalism, we can't really do that. So we end up working as hibernation, instead of going out and partying and having fun. And we go out and have fun and stuff when spring and summer comes back around. So it's always like grind time season when fall and winter hit. And I'm excited to see what it brings me. I'm very excited to see what my choices and decisions are going to lead me towards, because I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things that I'm working on right now, and you guys are going to see them. You're going to see them all. So yes, that's what's going on with me. I'm taking a big risk, and I'll be here next season to let you guys know how it went. Okay. But y'all know I'm a big proponent of not saying too much until you actually do it. Shock people. Don't let them know your next move. You just got to move that way. And then, people will always have to play catch up. They won't be taking all your ideas and stuff. So not that I'm saying people will take my ideas, but there are people who are out there that look to see what someone's next move is going to be so that they can do it first, or that they can just do it in general, whether it's first or last. They just want to, mimic what people are doing. And like I said, it's not that I'm saying people will do that to me, but I'm just saying that your dreams, your desires, and your hopes will not be protected if you don't protect them. So yeah, you guys, but without further ado, that is what I've been up to and what I'm going to be up to as we're on a small break in between seasons. Like I said, it will not be a big gap like it was before. It won't be almost a year till you guys see me again, because I'm already working on the next season. So we're going to go ahead and get into a word from the fam, and we're gonna get a little inspiration to lead us into the topic of the day, which I'm so excited about. Let's go. So the word from the fam comes from me this week. I mean, perfect way to end the season, right? I give my little piece of advice or inspiration. So my quote today is, "They never tell you about the happy weight you gain when you fall in love with yourself." We're always talking about happy weight that you gain in relationships and how things are, I don't know, you're just so happy that you just kind of forget about yourself, and you're just like, we're out to eat all the time, we're going to parties all the time, we're drinking alcohol, we're doing all these things, and you start gaining weight because you are just so madly in love, and you just laid up with your boo all the time, not doing anything productive with your body, right? Not everybody gains this, because some people have healthy habits and practices where they go to the gym and they just naturally eat right because they had a lifestyle change, or they've just always been that way. But for the people who, seem to teeter and, on the line of being healthy and not being healthy, aka me, we can tend to gain that happy weight when we get in relationships, because we're just like, oh, I'm filled up on love, and that's all I need, baby. That's all I need. So no one talks about that relationship with yourself when you start to love yourself the same way that you love other people, and when you start to cater and date yourself the way that you cater to and date other people, you start to gain that happy weight too, because you're just like, look, I'm comfortable over here, I'm happy over here, I'm feeling myself, I love myself, so we're gonna treat myself. We might treat ourselves a little bit too much, okay? Because a part of self-love is also taking care of your body and loving your body enough to take care of her or him or they, whatever yours is. And in turn, you will fall in love with yourself even more because you take care of them, it, whatever, and you give it a good foundation so that you can continue to build on that happiness because you take care of your body. So yes, that's my quote. No one talks about the happy weight you gain when you're in a happy relationship or when you're in love with yourself. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and run over to the fellowship hall, y'all, because I'm excited about this topic. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited about it because it's something we talk about all the time, but I haven't seen it from this perspective. And not to say I'm the first one to do it, but from my awareness of the things I see on a daily, I haven't seen anyone break it down like this. So I want to be one of the ones that help you guys understand from a different perspective. So let's roll out. So today we are talking about the 5 love languages of self. Okay, we always talk about the 5 love languages when we're in relationships with others, whether it's friends, family, whatever. We always talk about those type of love languages, how someone else should treat us, how we need to communicate how we want to be treated. But we rarely talk about the 5 love languages of ourselves. How do we want to be treated, and how do we treat ourselves that way before we expect someone else to treat us that way, right? When you make the decision to focus on love languages for yourself, you will start to attract people who will give you those love languages effortlessly. You won't have to continue to tell them over and over and over, this is how I want to be loved, because they're going to come into your life and see, oh, this is how they love themselves. This is what they really love to do. Let me pour into them in that way. And hopefully they can see me too. You know, your partner's thinking, if I can see them this way, I hope they can see me this way. And when you can already see yourself in a certain way, you also leave room to be able to welcome in someone else's love language so that you can treat them that same way. And it's not just about yourself, because you don't feel as if you're not all the way full, if that makes sense. When you feel like you need to be filled up by someone else, or you need something to help you get to that self-love capacity or maximum that you overflow, then you're not able to give to anyone else because you're expecting them to flow that cup for you, overflow that cup for you. But when you do it yourself and you focus on your own love languages and give it to yourself, when that person does come, you guys can equally give to each other because you're already full on your own self-love, if that makes sense. It should. So if you're new to this whole self-healing life, or just doing any type of healing on relationships or anything, you might not know what the 5 love languages are. I don't know how, because if you're watching this podcast, it's probably because you're on social media. And if you're on social media, you've seen things about love languages. But if you don't know, we're going to go through what the 5 love languages are. These are in no particular order. I'm just naming them. So the first one I have is the words of affirmation. Then we have physical touch. We have receiving gifts, acts of service, and quality time. Okay, those are your 5 love languages. Okay, so when we're entertaining our love languages and thinking about them, we're always thinking in the context of, oh yeah, that makes me feel good. What makes me feel good is my love language. And we rarely ask why that thing makes us feel good, or why that thing makes us feel as if that's our love language, right? So what's the root of our love languages? Where do those come from? Some may say, oh, I seen it on TV, and I saw how that made that person feel and I resonated with that. Or that's what I saw my parents do. They were always spending time together, or they were always giving each other gifts, or whatever the case is. I saw them happily married. They would always do acts of service for one another. They always did words of affirmation. So seeing those things growing up, that is something that I want in my relationship as well. And some people think, when I was with this one partner, or when I'm with my partner currently, this is how we like to express our love. So this is what we're naming as our love languages. And that's kind of where it comes from. Yes and no, right? Your experiences do shape where you identify love as and how and all that kind of stuff, right? It's where you pinpoint your love language, but it comes from a deeper root as well. So, of course, number one is going to come from childhood. However, you saw love given to you, around you, expressed towards someone or something else, that's how you equate love. And also, as you're growing up, you come across your family, your friends, other romantic relationships that kind of show you what your love language is. So that's the deeper root here is, of course, it starts in childhood, but it also starts through all of those other experiences that you experience up until adulthood and even through adulthood, because what you experienced back then and while you were growing up could be totally different than what you experienced when you grew up, which changed your perspective and how you look at love and love languages. The things that you lacked most as a child tend to be the things that you want the most as an adult. So if you lacked physical touch and no one really, gave you hugs or patted you on the back or held your hand or anything like that, then sometimes you might be the person who's like, I'm super touchy-feely. I really, really want someone to touch me in this way. I really want to touch people when I talk to them. I love to give people hugs when I see them, things of that nature. And on the contrary of that, some of us want that all the time because that's what we experience. So if we experience words of affirmations when we grew up, then we need a partner who's going to be like, hey, you look beautiful today. Or, oh my God, you did such a good job when you did this. I'm so proud of you. I'm impressed by what you did here. I love when you do this. You know what I'm saying? Like all those words of affirmations and things that lift you up. If you're used to hearing that when you were a child, you're going to want to hear that as an adult for some people. And for some people, it can be the opposite. Like, I heard that all my life, so I need to see something different. Or I don't really resonate with that because it feels like something that didn't come from a true space, or it came from a platonic space that's not romantic, because if your parents always gave you words of affirmations, then you might be looking for something different in your romantic relationships. It's all about your perspective. It's not always about this is exactly how it is. Someone's perspective is going to be different than mine and yours and theirs. So however you perceive love to be, whatever surrounded that love language, whether it was negative energy or positive energy, is going to shape how you look at it in the future and in the present. So if you're listening to this right now, I'm hoping that you know what your love languages are, or at least the ranking of them. If you don't, go ahead, pause right now, because we're going to do a real deep dive into each love language and how they show up differently for everyone and many other factors. So I want you to stop listening to this, just pause for a second, go to Google, type in love languages test, 5 love languages test, whatever. There's plenty of them on there. Click on it, take the test. It might take you a good 15 to 20 minutes, maybe not even that long, and figure out what your love languages are ranked from 1 to 5. Okay. I'm assuming your top 1, depending on how the test is, your top ones are going to be your strongest love languages, what you really, really like, and all the way to your least favorites at number 5. So go do that and come back. All right. For my people who already know, then we are going to go ahead and take a deep dive. We're going to keep it pushing. And for my people who just came back, hello, welcome. I hope you're excited about learning more about your love languages for yourself. So the 3 things we're going to tap on for each love language is where the root stems from. Then we're going to tackle how to apply it in our present day life. And then we're going to tackle how to avoid lack in the future when we're dealing with self-love languages. So we're going to start with words of affirmations. Okay. I'm going to read the definition that I have written down here because sometimes I just can't remember everything, y'all. No, a lot of times I'm really just speaking from my heart. I have notes here that I can look back to, but a lot of times I end up skipping the notes because I'm just talking. But for the formal definition here, words of affirmation is a communication of love that expresses respect, appreciation, support, or empathy to uplift others through the use of words. Okay, that's a nice definition. So we're going to talk about the roots of this love language, and we're going to talk about the lack of it and the abundance of it. So the lack of it, of course, is when you didn't get it, and the abundance of it is when you did get it. So these are some examples of the lack of words of affirmations when we're talking about the root, like when you were in childhood, when you experienced this growing up in family, friends, or relationships, right? So the lack of words of affirmations can be not hearing I love you when you grew up, no compliments on your appearance, not getting thank yous when you helped out around the house, not being shown empathy when you made mistakes in certain situations growing up. Also, another one would be no encouragements towards your hobbies or dreams that you had for yourself. So on the other side of that, it's really just the opposite for abundance. You heard I love yous all the time. They were endless in your home. You actually got a cookie for your praise. You know the saying, you want a cookie for that? You actually got the cookie. You know what I'm saying? So you felt that love through the words of encouragement. People also encourage you to follow your dreams and encourage you to keep going even when you wanted to stop. You were praised for your accomplishments that you made. You were told you were pretty and handsome. And you had active listeners in your home or in your relationships. People who were responsive to the things that you were saying and actually listened to what you were talking about. So that's a way for you to identify, did I lack this growing up or did I have an abundance of words of affirmations growing up? If this is one of your top ones. And I don't think that you should just go through this episode just listening to your top ones. I think you should listen to all of them because it'll help you understand why each love language is in what position that it's in. And it will also help you to understand where it comes from for yourself, how you can make it work for yourself, and be aware of why you do or don't like whichever love language. It's just for a better, well-rounded awareness, really. So if words of affirmations is something that you really, really love, how can you apply it to your present daily life? Okay, there's many different ways. You can write sticky notes. We love sticky notes around here, okay? Sticky notes of affirmations, telling yourself that you're pretty, you got this, you're proud of yourself, keep going. You know, all of those words of encouragement and affirmations that allow you to feel good inside. You can write those on sticky notes and put them in places that you're going to see every day, whether it's your mirror in your bathroom, your door before you walk out the door of your house, the door of your bedroom, the refrigerator, like wherever that you're always going, on the TV, wherever. Put these around so that you can see them a lot and you can remember who you are, honey. Okay, and love on yourself if this is one of your top ones. You can also write in your journals and be able to go back to your journal and look and read it so that you can get that feeling of words of affirmations, of the affirmations you wrote for yourself in the past. And just being able to reread them and see them, you will be able to get that love language feeling. And your journal will also listen to you. So that whole active listening, responsiveness that you're looking for, of course your journal's not going to be like, hey girl. I mean, it can if that's what you want it to do. You know, I do that in my journal all the time. I'm just like, what's up, girl? It's been a minute. You know, like I'm always talking to myself. So when I read it back, it's just like, oh, it's like a friend, you know. But you know that your journal hears you. You know, you gotta get kind of spiritual with this. You know that your journal is going to hear you. So write it down in your journal when no one else wants to listen to you. And you just have yourself go to your journal. And that can be in your notes app. That can be on an actual notepad, notebook. It can be a voice note, whatever you want it to be. And speaking of voice notes, record some affirmations for yourself. And if you really, really are like love words of affirmations to get you going, make it a ringtone, make it an alarm or something. Like, you know, we're in the day of technology where you can make anything. So make it a ringtone, make it so that you hear it often and it really lifts you up in some kind of way. You can schedule emails and texts to yourself. So if you just need one every Sunday, you send you a little email. It's just like, oh, how nice. This is the words of affirmations, or this text. One that I recently saw in a movie that I was watching, or a TV show, was a girl sent herself a postcard. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, send yourself some mail that's a love letter or something. And then when you get it, read it so you can feel good, you know? And these are all things that you might want your partner to do for you too. So if you do them for yourself first, you're only attracting people who are going to do that. You know, this is for the betterment of us. And in turn will allow our relationships outside of us to be very flourishing and very positive and very uplifting. So those are some ways that you can apply words of affirmations to your daily life. Now, I want you to be very cognizant of having lack of words of affirmations, especially if it's low on your ranking. You need to be aware of how you lack that, because we want to be well-rounded. We want to accept all forms of love because love is the highest vibration, right? So love is universal. Love is something that we all love, whether we want to admit it or not. So I don't want you to have these bottom love languages and just forget about them because they still play a part in you. So what I want you to avoid in the future so that you don't lack this love language is being hard on yourself, not praising yourself for your accomplishments, having self-doubt, having negative self-talk, not recognizing your growth and your strength in your situation, and not listening to yourself and honoring your feelings. Those are some ways that you can avoid having lack in this particular love language of words of affirmations. So yeah, you guys, that was word of affirmations, and we're going to go ahead and go to physical touch, okay? Physical touch is a little touchy. I'm so corny, y'all. This is me in real life. Like, I'm the girl who laughs at the dad jokes because I think it's so funny. I just think it's so funny. I'm so corny. I don't care. Y'all can hate me or not. I don't care. Before we get into physical touch, I do want to say there is a trigger warning in physical touch because I'm going to say the real. So I will let you know right before I'm about to talk about the trigger warning, and then I'll let you know when I'm done so that you can just fast forward. And I'll try to remember to put the timestamp in the description so that you guys can just fast forward if that's something that you want to stay away from. But in due time, do know that you have to deal with all of your shadows and all of your triggers at one point in time, or else it's going to eat you alive. So, but I'm not here to force you. I'm just here to let you know and to warn you so that, it's just customary and it's nice to do for people and it's thoughtful. So I want to be that person. Okay. So we're going to read this description or this definition of physical touch. So physical touch is to show nonverbal love, appreciation, and gratitude towards others through the action of touch. Where does the root of physical touch come from in the lack version? You didn't have hugs, you didn't have bedtime cuddles, back rubs to go to sleep. You never saw your parents hold hands with their partners, or if your parents were married, them hold hands together, or you just never really experienced a lot of affection when it came to physical touch. So when you see this in abundance, you definitely see it when you have a lot of hugs in your family. You saw your parents be very affectionate and touchy-feely on each other all the time. You have bedtime cuddles, whether it be with your siblings or your friends or your family, whoever. This is the trigger warning. So if you would like to fast forward, go ahead. Even though this is in the abundance section, it still talks about the fact that it shouldn't have been done in the first place and the fact that this abundance is a negative abundance. So when it comes to physical touch, sexual abuse is definitely one of those things that play into a love language, especially if you were frequently abused by family members or you were abused by people outside of the family, just sexually abused by anybody. It is something that can be seen as an abundance in your life because it might attribute to some of the things that you do in your present day life. If you are an overly sexual person, or if you just, you have sex very frequently, and there's no shade to anyone who has sex very frequently because not everyone who is overly sexual or anyone who's sexually liberated necessarily has sexual trauma in the past. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when this happened in your life and you thought it was normal as a child growing up, or just in general in any part of your life, you thought that this amount of sexual abuse and without any type of consensuality from you, when you thought that was normal, then it's kind of just something wired in your brain. And it's something that until you work on it is going to be something that you're into or something that you choose to partake in frequently to fill a certain void because it's something that you didn't think was an issue, or you still might not think is an issue. But as we're in the times right now where things are just more out and open for people to learn about and to explore and to be truthful about, you might start realizing like, okay, this thing that I experienced was not okay. And this might attribute to why my sexual life might be this way, So it's a serious topic and it's a heavy topic, but it's something truthful to really look into as to why that might be your love language. And it's just the truth. It's nothing, I'm going to stand by that because I just feel like the things that we like in our present day come from our history, come from our past. The life we're living right now come from decisions, actions, and experiences we had in the past. So yes, that is the trigger warning. I'm going to make sure I put a timestamp. We are done with the trigger warning. If you are here from the timestamp, we're going to keep going, okay? So if this is one of your top love languages, how can you apply this to your daily life? There's so many ways, honey. Y'all know physical touch. There are so many ways to feel this love language. You can hug yourself. You can get a massage, get your hair done, get a pedicure, a manicure. You can masturbate. You need to masturbate. Side note, I don't know how people go their life without masturbating, but they be having sex with people. I'm like, if you can't masturbate, I just know your sex is not enjoyable, because how can you tell someone how to please you if you don't even know how to please yourself? I'm off my soapbox. It just baffles me when I hear women say, I don't masturbate. Like, oh my God. I'm just like, oh my God, you don't masturbate? That's wild. That is wild. I don't care how long it's been since, I've connected with another soul. I'm going to masturbate. I don't care. And I just feel like everyone should. It's your birthright. Okay? So quit playing out here. Please quit playing. You can work out as well in order to bring it into your daily life. Feeling yourself and working on your body and not neglecting your body allows you to embrace your body and actually allows you to feel your body, so it'll be like a hug to yourself as well from the inside, because you're eating right, you're working out, you're taking care of your body and showing your body that self-love. I'm a big proponent of slow dancing. Caress your body as you slow dance, honey. Put on some nice R&B. Put it on, okay? And it don't matter if it's old school, new school, whatever. Put it on. Even if you're not an R&B person, put on whatever makes you feel sexy and slow dance and caress your body. That is really going to help you feel that physical touch and really get you grounded and have that real solid foundation in your body, so that when someone does come to be a part of you and your energy, you don't have any hiccups. You're safe in your body. You're comfortable in your body, so you can allow another soul, another person to be in your energy with their body as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. And last but not least, go pet an animal. Oh my God, like petting animals just gives you that endorphin high, releases that serotonin, so you can really channel your love language by petting a pet if you have a pet, or going to somewhere who has animals and petting them. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really like to say go to shelters and pet them, because they really be wanting to go home, y'all. They really want a home. So if you just go there and just be petting them, they gonna think like, when you gonna take me home? So I understand building, giving the animals in the shelter someone to just have a companionship with, but they want the full thing. They don't want you to be teasing them the whole time. They're gonna get pissed off and it's gonna make them sad. So I don't really want to propose going to a shelter and petting them. But hey, for all my animal lovers out there, if it's better to do that, then you can let them know. But that's just my personal thought. So how to avoid lack in physical touch in the future is to not neglect your body and how you care for it. So make sure you're paying attention to your body, how it feels, what needs to be done for it to feel better. Also having weak boundaries. Don't allow your boundaries to be crossed with other people, and do your best, because we know how the world is. Do your best to keep it locked down. If you don't want that person in your energy, don't give them the time of day to even be in your energy, and sometimes I can say that, but we know how things go. We know how things go, and it's very unfortunate, but to the best of your ability, whatever you can do, keep your boundaries up when it comes to you not wanting certain people in your energy. And there is literally nothing that we as people can do to stop other sick people from doing what they want to do, especially when it comes to physical strength and just negative energy and just someone who just needs to leave this earth. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, I totally understand. But when you do have the choice, when you do have the option, try to practice your boundaries so that you say, no, you're not worth it for me. I don't want this. Okay. And last but not least, if you want to avoid lack, you need to work on your relationship with your body and work on how you can improve it. So if you look in the mirror and you see your body and you're just like, I don't really like it, you know what I'm saying? Or I hate it, you know what I'm saying? Then that's what's going to show up in how you present yourself and how you interact with others. You know, if you hate your body, you're not going to want someone else to come and touch your body. That's just point blank period. So you need to work on your relationship with it, how you think about it, how you feel about it, in order to really embrace it with yourself first and then embrace it with someone else. All right, so that is that love language. Next, we have receiving gifts, y'all. This is my personal favorite. We're going to get into what my love languages are because why would I not? But I love gifts. I just do. And it comes from a lot of different things, reasons why. But the definition of receiving gifts is to express thoughtfulness, care, and love through the offering of gifts. Okay. So the lack version of giving gifts as a love language is you grew up in poverty, probably poor. You didn't really have that much. You had to have hand-me-downs all the time. You had to share everything. You didn't really get gifts on celebrations or holidays or birthdays. The gifts you did get lacked thoughtfulness, so you just always got socks or something, which, hey, I'm not even gonna lie. I love socks. Back then when I was a child, I probably would be like, what is this? This is not what I asked for. But now if you give me some fuzzy socks, I'm just like, you know me. Yo, I love fuzzy socks. Fuzzy socks are so comfortable, but I'm also like a big foot person. Like, not that I like feet. It's that I care about my feet a lot. And I have to have house shoes on all the time. I sleep with socks on because my feet get really cold. And I love fuzzy socks. So if you give me some fuzzy socks, then I'm going to really know that you really know me. Okay. I'm going to know that you know me. But, you know, some people don't feel that way. And I totally get it because that's not being thoughtful towards what they like. And also, if there was a lack of gratitude towards the gifts that you gave to other people, that also will create lack in this love language. So if this love language is in abundance, it looks like probably growing up wealthy, always getting the gifts that you wanted, over the top celebrations and holidays. You had an allowance. You got gifts for any and every occasion. I mean, it could be because you got straight A's on your report card, so then you got a gift. You know what I'm saying? It could be because you made it all summer without pissing off a family member. That's really dramatic, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you just always got gifts. You always got some type of money or something as a result of something that you did or because of any situation going on, really. And then you also had loved ones who expressed immense gratitude for the gifts that you got them as well. So that's what an abundance of receiving gifts love language looks like. So how can you apply receiving gifts in your everyday life? Number one, you can go and buy yourself the things that you want to buy as a treat or as a celebration for an accomplishment you did. Of course, don't go crazy, but when you do something that you're proud of, or when you just feel like you just deserve a treat, go get you something. That is showing yourself love. You love receiving gifts, buy yourself a gift. You can also give someone else a gift. That also lights you up in a way too, because I'm that person. Like, I love to give gifts. I really do. But that's also because that's one of my love languages, you know? So I love to give people gifts because that's how I feel love. And not everyone will feel that way. You know, we already talked about that with relationships. Just because that's your love language doesn't mean that's your partner, your friend, your family, whatever. That's their love language. But you can give that to someone else if you're trying to treat yourself well as well, if that makes sense, because we're talking about self-love languages. So giving a gift to someone else, if that makes you feel good, we're here to make ourselves feel good in this moment at least, then give someone else a gift. And also just be thoughtful in the gifts that you give and receive to others or that people give to you. You know, try to see the reasoning why they gave you that gift, why they feel the way they feel as to the thing they chose for you, and try to be thoughtful as into the gifts that you give to other people, because it'll show people that you care as well, and it'll let you know that you're actually present in this relationship. So for instance, if you love music, go buy that vinyl that you really want. You know, if you love to read a book, go buy that new book. If you love jewelry, go spend you a little coin on that new piece that you want. If you're a perfume girl like me, buy the perfume, okay? Like, treat yourself, because you know it's going to make you happy in the long run. And no, don't overindulge to the point where you're like broke or anything, but it's okay to treat yourself. And I have to tell myself that sometimes, because I'm always in the space of like, well, I don't want to spend all my money and my bills are high and like all this stuff. And it's just like, well, are you here to pay bills and just save money all day? No. some of that, yes, but you're also here to enjoy the things that you like. So get you something every now and then. I want to make a note that some of these things will overlap. So like we just talked about in physical touch, if you go and get yourself a massage, that's also like receiving a gift. You know, you get the physical touch, but you also went and spoiled your body in some kind of way. So it's like two love languages in one. You got a gift and you also got physical touch. So you can think of your love languages that way too and have like the ultimate love language experience, honey. I'm excited to see what you guys actually put together because that's going to be really fun to see. So how can you avoid the lack of receiving gifts in the future? Number one, if you hoard your money and you feel like you can't spend anything, you're going to be in that lack mentality. And that's also in the mindset of having a poverty mindset because we don't want to hold so tight to our resources that we don't allow things to flow out, because when we don't allow them to flow out, we don't allow anything to flow in either. You also don't want to feel as if you don't deserve to be treated, because everyone deserves to be treated, and especially you, okay? Especially you, especially going through this whole season, listening to these episodes and working on yourself. You really deserve to be treated right now. So get yourself something a little nice. Make yourself feel loved, like I always say, okay? And feel as if you deserve the treat that you want. If you want it, you deserve it. Another way to avoid lack is by only taking scraps from like bargain places in the clearance. Like every time you go shopping, you just go straight to clearance. Every time you go shopping, you only go thrift shopping. Like we love a thrift. Do not take my words as if I do not love thrift. Like I have to say 75% of my wardrobe are thrifted clothes. They really are. And I love that for me. But I also love things that fit exactly the way I want them to fit, which I mean, I can go to a tailor and get that done, but there's new things on the market all the time that I might want to try. And there's different ways that people are making clothes that fit my body better, you know? So it's like going into a store and spending a nice little coin on something that's going to last me a long time can be the same effect that I get from a thrift shop. It'll just be brand new. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to have quality pieces in your closet just because you're a thrifter. And not to say like a thrifter as if you're not a real thrifter, but like a thrifter to the point where you're like, I can't buy things out of like a store or a boutique or anything because I only thrift my clothes. I only do secondhand clothes. And it's just like, that's great. You can have duality though. You can have duality because if you are too much in the price of things, because you can be a thrifter and spend hundreds of dollars on clothes, you know, thrifting really isn't the price. It's the fact of if you're always going to the clearance or the bargain places because you're trying to save money rather than you're trying to get a unique look. You know? And lastly, to avoid lack, you don't want to be cheap on yourself and then be expensive on other people. Okay. Like you go and you get yourself just the little scraps. And then when it's time to give someone a gift, you're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to get them the best of the best. But you don't do that for yourself. Okay. So just remind yourself that you come first and you deserve the same thing that you give everybody else. Okay. Next on the list, we have quality time. Quality time. As you can see, I don't always remember my love languages, but I'm pretty sure quality time is one of them. I just know receiving gifts is one, but I always retake the test and sometimes it's different depending on how I'm feeling. So we'll see by the end of this episode what it is. So the definition of quality time is to spend undistracted, undisturbed, one-on-one time with self or others. Okay, it's real crucial that you hear that undistracted and undisturbed, because as a quality time lover, I'm gonna harp on undistracted and undisturbed. Okay. So where does the lack root of quality time come from? You could have grown up in the house that was full and packed to the realm where you could barely hear yourself think. Okay. You might have had parents who were unavailable because they worked all the time. They were really busy or they just weren't around as much. You may have had to share time with your siblings between your parents because it was a lot of you guys, or your parents were busy, whatever the case was. You had to share that time. So you never felt like it was truly quality time for you guys. You may have had a long gap between seeing your loved ones or had a long gap between special one-on-one time between your loved ones. So what I mean by that is like if you grew up in a house where it was 2 parents and like 4 kids, right? And you guys never got that one-on-one time with either your mom or your dad, then you may feel as if, number one, we lacked that individual time. And number 2, if y'all did get that, individual time. It might have been like every other year I might get that, or every 6 months I might get that, but it wasn't something consistent, and it left a long gap in between when we spent that quality time and when we got back together for quality time, creating lack, if that makes sense. And lastly, if you have a family that was just distracted by electronics, even to this day, if everyone's just always in their phone or always on the tablet or always watching TV, no one's ever really just in each other's face asking questions, talking about their day, having conversations, and really having undisturbed time with one another, then you're going to feel that lack as well. So if you experience this in abundance, maybe you were a child who was the only child who kind of grew up alone. Now, this can be both. This can be a lack and an abundance, because as the only child, you can feel the lack because you don't have any other siblings to have quality time with, and you might be with a single parent, or you might have two parents and they might be just as busy, and they might just not have as much time to spend with you when you were a child or growing up. But it can be an abundance because if you are the only child, then you get that only child syndrome, and everything's always about you, and you always got all the attention and all the time and everything like that. So it can go both ways. Another way you can see the abundance is if you had a family, or you currently have a family that always has nightly table dinners, which is hard to get around the dinner table sometimes, but some families do it. They make it a thing where people sit at the dinner table and they talk about their day. They have dinner. They don't sit at the TV and watch and eat. They sit at the table and talk and eat. You may have had parents that intentionally carved out time for each child. Like, on this day, this is what I do with this child. On this day, this is what I do on this child, which is really a privilege because, a lot of people are just really, really busy, and it's really hard to be like, I'm going to do this with this person at this time all the time. You know what I'm saying? So if you have that, be very grateful for that. And not to say that what you lack isn't worthy of mention, or you shouldn't feel that way, but it is something that you should be grateful for if you were to experience your parents in that kind of way. And lastly, if you guys had regular family nights and activities, let's say every Wednesday you guys had board game night, you know what I'm saying? Or every Thursday everyone went to the movies together or something. That was quality time that you guys carved out for each other. And of course your parents probably did it, or if you're doing that now, it's something that you guys do to make sure that you get that undisturbed, uninterrupted quality time. So how can we apply quality time to our daily lives? One way we can do it is by working on hobbies that we enjoy and love. And this can kind of go hand in hand with receiving gifts, because if you go and buy yourself the supplies, you feel like you're buying something for something that you love, and you're buying it for yourself. So that's one way to look at it, working on a hobby that you love and getting those supplies. So one example for me is probably painting. Like, that is something that I like to do. I'm not like a Picasso or nothing, but I can look at a picture and try to recreate it. And as an interior designer, I kind of learned more about artistic things, and it's just fun to paint. Whether it looks the way it's supposed to or not, it's just fun and very stress relieving. And it gets myself quality time because I'm just kind of sitting with my thoughts and just vibing out. You can go on walks, you can meditate, you can binge watch some TV. We love binge watching TV, okay? Especially with quality time. You can go to the movies or take yourself out to dinner. You can go chill at the pool, or you can go to a resort / a spa, which kind of goes hand in hand with that physical touch again, and receiving gifts, because you're taking yourself to the spa to receive the physical gifts, but you're also spending quality time with yourself, and you're getting, I said physical gifts, I'm going to say physical touch, and you're receiving that gift because you gave it to yourself. So we can make this a whole love fest, okay? By meshing all of your love language together by just doing one simple activity. So how can we avoid lack of quality time in the future for ourselves? You have to stop spending all of your time with friends and family, okay? Just the same way that you enjoy spending time with others, you should enjoy that time with yourself as well, because you just want to be able to feel yourself. You want to be able to know who you are outside of everyone else. So have some balance on how you spend time with yourself versus how you spend time with other people. Another way is not taking your PTO. Take that time off. They're giving you PTO for a reason, okay? And we really shouldn't even have to ask for time off, but the fact that we do and the fact that it's available means that you should take it, okay? Also, feeling guilty about relaxing, that's going to get you in a lack mentality as well, because you need to, as much as you need to work, is as much as you need to relax. It's all about balance. You can't get work done if you don't ever have a period of stagnancy, a period of relaxation. So please take a break. Another way that we need to avoid lack is by not allowing our phone to have all of our attention all the time, especially when we first wake up. Like, we definitely need to take that time to meditate, just sit with ourselves, get ready for the day, and then maybe you could dibble in your phone some, but don't allow it to take majority of your attention throughout your day and throughout your life, really. And lastly, being afraid to sit with your thoughts and your feelings. And that's that whole meditation thing. If you're not willing to sit and listen to how your brain sounds and how your feelings and your heart sounds and wants to tell you, then you're never ever truly going to give yourself that quality time. I really feel like the ultimate form of quality time is meditation because you literally don't have anything external in your way. Even going on a walk is very meditative, but you still have other things outside of you that you can pay attention to, like the trees and the water and the animals or whatever. But when you're just sitting somewhere with your eyes closed and meditating, you literally have nothing but your internal self to rely on and to work through and to hear. So to me, the rawest form of quality time is meditation. And that's how you can avoid lack within that love language. All right, y'all, we've made it to the last love language. Okay, and that is acts of service. Like I said, this is in no particular order. I'm just going off of how I wrote it because is there a real order? I just feel like it is what it is. So, acts of service. The definition is to express your support and love by helping yourself or others with their day-to-day tasks and responsibilities. So what is the lack of acts of service? Number one, being overly independent. When you were growing up or you just had to do everything yourself, everything just kind of fell on your lap. Another way to look at this is having to go behind others after they've done something for you and you having to finish the job. And that can be in growing up, that could be in your everyday life now, if you're like a manager or something. Or if you're just working as a normal coworker, you might have to go behind people and finish the job. But it also comes from the fact that when you were growing up, you felt like you had to do everything yourself, right? And another lack root issue is having unreliable people in your life. You know, people say they're going to do one thing and they don't do it. And so then you find yourself having to do it because you relied on someone who was unreliable, right? So if you experienced acts of service in abundance, you could have grown up with a housekeeper or your parents just always picked up behind you. They did everything for you. You barely had to lift a finger, okay? You could be very dependent on others because you didn't grow up independently. Between your extended family and your friends and your immediate family, you might have a very close-knit support system. So, you know, you might have a big family where you guys always get together for family reunions, or you always get together for big holidays and you guys help each other through rough times and things of that nature. So you're used to people helping each other to show their love towards the family unit, their friend group, or just each other in general. And in your immediate family, you might be used to everyone just always helping each other. Like everyone, all you gotta do is call a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, and everyone's like, yeah, I got you, whatever the case is. So that's how you can experience, or you may have experienced, abundance in acts of service growing up and up into your adulthood life. So how can we apply acts of service to our daily lives right now and in the future? Well, number one, you can ask for help, okay? If you do have people around you, I don't want to say everyone has a support team in the physical, because I do feel like everyone has a support team in the spiritual. But whether you're spiritual or not, you have help in some way, shape, or form. Reach out and ask for help. You know, there are people who are willing to help you, and there are energies and, you know, things of that nature that are willing to help you as well. So lean in on your support system. When you don't have anyone in the physical that can help you, hire help. Hire someone to do your laundry, hire someone to clean your house, hire someone to clean your car, hire someone to watch your kids. Okay, like hire people, especially if you have the funds. Not everybody has the funds, but if this is an option for you, please hire help. This is an act of service to your own self-love and your well-being. And then you'll have time to go to the spa. You'll have time to do all these other love languages that you just love so much. Doing a little reverse psychology, you can go and help someone else, kind of how we did with the receiving gifts. Reverse psychology, giving a gift to somebody else, and in turn it makes you feel good. So going to help someone else and giving them your time to show that you care will in turn make you feel good as well, if this is one of your top love languages. This is contrary to what we said earlier about having to do everything by yourself, but sometimes doing it yourself makes you feel good, especially if acts of service is at the top of your list. You might want to do something yourself. So do it yourself, but in moderation. Don't overdo it, because then you're just living in the lack mentality of this love language. And we don't want to do that. We want to be able to reach out and ask for help so that people can show us that we can receive this love language in a different form, rather than us exhausting our own energy to bring it in. You can cook yourself a meal, or you can hire a chef, whatever you want to do, whatever works for you. You can hand wash your car. I say this because I used to hand wash my car, and I used to love doing that for some reason. I just used to be like, yo, I really hooked it up. My car looks really, really nice. I hand washed her and she looks good. I don't do it no more because I've just been in a lot of different things with my car, and hand washing it is just going to piss me off because I feel like she's never ever going to get as clean as she used to. So I gave up on that. But when I get a new car, I definitely will start hand washing her again. So if that's your thing, is that something you like to do? It's also a form of getting your body moving too. So go hand wash your car. And lastly, do your own hair or not. If you're not a hair girl and you don't know how to do your own hair, stay out your head and go pay someone to do your hair. Okay, that's an act of service, getting something done for yourself. And if you can do it yourself, do it. If not, and if you don't want to, pay someone to do it. Okay, that's also something I had in physical touch as well, because a head massage is unmatched. It's unmatched. I don't know if anything feels as good as a head massage except for the obvious. Okay, which I don't have to spell out here. So how can we avoid lack when it comes to acts of service in our love language, right? Number one, we don't want to be stubborn to help. If there's help out there, we need to take it, all right? So that we can really feel this love towards ourselves. Penny pinching can be seen as one as well, unless you just don't have it. If you don't have it like that, then that's just what it is. But if you do, and you're just trying to hoard on to it, then let some of that go so that you can get some relief in your life. You deserve it, honey. We also need to avoid feeling like it won't be right unless we do it. I suffer from this, okay? I won't let anyone touch my hair because I have been growing her out for so long. And I also went to school for hair. Like, I used to be a licensed cosmetologist. I haven't renewed in so long, so I'm not technically licensed anymore, but I'm still a cosmetologist. And that's the main reason why I don't let people touch my hair, because I know what my hair needs and I don't need people experimenting. Okay, trying to figure out what to do with my hair when I already know. So that's one side of it. But the other side of it is like, I would love for someone to just wash my hair and braid me up one day. That I would love that. So I have to get off my own high horse and get out of my own way and be like, okay, someone can wash my hair. It's fine. It's totally fine. Another thing to avoid is micromanaging someone that you've asked for help. Like, if you ask a cleaner to come clean your house and you're paying them, don't be standing over their shoulder like, you missed a spot, or actually that goes there. Like, let them do their thing, okay? And if you don't like how they did it, then get someone else to do it next time. But don't micromanage someone trying to help you. Just allow it to be, okay? I suffer with that too. I'm just a control freak, as you guys can tell. And the last thing you want to avoid so that you don't have lack in this love language is forgetting to show appreciation and gratitude for the people who help you. Letting them know that you appreciate it, that they're valuable to you, and that without them, you would have been way more stressed, or, your life wouldn't be as easy if they didn't come through and help. So just showing that appreciation and that gratitude will go a long way and will allow you to have more acts of service in your life in better ways. All right, y'all. So we're about to talk about my love languages. We have went through all of the love languages, and we're going to go ahead and see where I rank on the list for all you nosy people out there that just want to treat me. I'm joking. But either way it goes, here are my love languages. I have them written down right here because, like I said, I just never remember. So my number one is quality time. Okay, number one is quality time. I have a tie between 2 and 3, which is receiving gifts and words of affirmation. And then I have 4, which is acts of service, and 5, which is physical touch. Okay, physical touch has always been the last one for me because it just is. So I'm going to break down each one as to why I love it, how I do it, and show self-love to myself in these love languages, and things that I have to watch out for. Okay. So why I love quality time, mainly because I grew up alone. Like I grew up in my room playing with my Barbies, playing on my PlayStation by myself. Okay. Until I like started to go to the youth center and was able to connect with other people. I've always been the person who's just been by myself. So I love my quality time. It gives me space to think and breathe and just be with myself. So that's how I implement it in my everyday. I make sure that even if I'm in a relationship, if we live together or something, if I don't have my own room that I can do something in, then I'm going to go into our room while you're in a separate room and I'm going to worry about myself. I'm going to read a book or I'm going to work on a business or something. Like, even though I could do that sitting right next to you, I like to have my own space. So I'm going to go into another room and create that division so that I can really zone out and not be worried about someone else's energy, because I just appreciate my own energy. And it's not to be selfish. That's something I have to look out for, because I can tend to be an introvert and not want anybody in my space. I can just go into self-isolation and be totally fine with that. Even though, I still love being around people and having friends and stuff, I can still be fine being isolated and being okay. But that's not okay. Like, you need people, you need to be interactive with people, you need to have community. So that's something I have to watch out for, is that I don't isolate myself too much and that I still pour into the relationships that I have cultivated for myself and that surround my life. So the two that were tied were receiving gifts and words of affirmation. So we're going to start with receiving gifts. The reason why I love it so much is because growing up, that is how love was shown to me. And even to this day, with certain relationships, that's how love is shown, through monetary gifts, through just any type of physical material item. Okay. Going shopping, getting money, like things like that. That is how love was shown to me. So that's how I have equated love in my relationships and with myself. I used to be way worse about this. Something I had to work on was not spending too much money. Like, I would go to a store and blow like $400 on clothes. Like, and that was when I was like 19, 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just blow it because I'm just like, why not? Gifts means like love, and I love myself a lot. So I'm going to buy all these gifts. And in the same breath, it's kind of like I was filling a void for the love that I felt like I didn't really have. So I wanted to feel something. And the way that I felt it was the way that I see love, which is through receiving gifts. So I would buy myself a lot of gifts, right? It just continues and continues. So that's something I've had to watch out for. And I've done way better with my spending. I don't buy as much because I just used to be so bad about it. But I do still buy things here and there. Like, as you guys can tell, I love sunglasses. Like, love sunglasses down. I have an extensive sunglass collection. Okay. You guys only seen like 4 of them, and I have at least like 20. Like, I love sunglasses so much. So that's something that I buy myself when I'm out and about and I might see, and I'm just like, I haven't bought a new pair of glasses. Let me get that. I used to be a sneakerhead, but being a sneaker collector, you gotta have some money nowadays. I mean, you've always had to have money to really collect the sneakers, but I used to be a sneakerhead back in middle school. Now I'm not so much. I want to be, but I gotta get my funds right? So I went down a little bit to the glasses. Any type of accessory to me is a win. So that's how I show it in my life. That's how I bring it to my self-love, and just being mindful of how much I spend is something I have to watch out for. Words of affirmation. I definitely grew up having a parent that always basically told me I was a shit. Okay. It was just like, them girls, they jealous. You just need to move around because you got it all. You all that in a bag of chips. Can't nobody tell you otherwise. And you really the hottest thing that didn't touch this land. Okay. Like, that's literally the things I would hear from my parent growing up. So that's something that I look for in my relationships, because it's something that I didn't believe in myself. That's why my parent always told me all the time, like, nah, like, you really are the shit, not in those words. They didn't really cuss at me or nothing, but like, they definitely were just like, listen, you got it. You are it. You're the prototype. I don't know about nothing else, but I'm gonna keep telling you that until you believe it. Okay. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point of believing that I do have what it takes and to be confident in myself. So I used to always look for it in other people. Like, what do other people think? Do they think I'm just as dope as other people have said? Or do they think I'm as dope as I want to be? Like just looking for that external validation. So now, how I implement it into my life and into my self love is by telling myself, like, girl, don't forget who you are. Like, you're this girl, you're that girl. You can do this, you can do that. Like, just really bigging myself up. And things that I have to watch out for is that self doubt. Is really just looking at myself and be like, you can't do it. Like, you don't have what it takes. It's not the time. Like, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, like, if you believe that you got it, you got it. And can't nobody take that away from you. It doesn't matter what their perspective is. It doesn't matter how they view you or what they think about you. It's what you think about you. That's the only thing that should matter. And that should be your truth. Doesn't matter what anyone else's truth is. What's your truth? That's what's valid for your life. So that's something I've had to work on a lot. And I don't really write down a lot of affirmations. That's not really my thing. I'm just the type of girl who gets in the mirror and starts dancing. And I'll just be like, dang, girl, like, you the shit. You are it. You are her. Okay. So those are the things that I do. And that's how I keep myself up, and it's always a battle between the gifts and the words of affirmations, like I said, because it was tied. So nowadays I lean more into affirmations than gifts because I be trying to save my money, y'all. So I'm just like, look, I don't need, after moving and after always having to go to Goodwill twice a year to give away so much stuff, I was like, yo, you're overspending. Like, you don't even need all this stuff. You don't even want it by the end of the year. So like, let's stop overbuying. And that's why I've, go back and forth between gifts and words of affirmation. My next one is acts of service, and it's low on the ranking because I do feel like I have to do everything myself, and I am very dissatisfied when other people do things for me because they just don't do it the way that I like it. And I really have to work on that. I do. I remember I was dating someone new back in the day, and they did something so nice. They went and washed my dishes for me. And while they were washing my dishes, I sat in the kitchen with them because I was like, are they going to do it right? Like, I was kind of micromanaging. I didn't say anything, but I was just kind of like looking, And then when they like left or whatever, I went and looked at my dishes and they just weren't even all the way clean. And that really irritated me because I was just like, so sorry, y'all. Oh God, that got me. It really irritated me because it was just like, yo, like, if you're going to do something for somebody, like, do it. Don't do it. That's just how I feel. Like, would you do it for yourself? Maybe. And if you would, then just don't even think about me. Don't even think about doing it for me because, yeah. And I struggled with this as a child too because my mom would clean my room and I would come home and like turn into the Hulk. Okay. I would just be like, why is my room so clean? Where's all my stuff? Because you know how it is. When someone cleans your room, you don't know where anything is at, right? And so instead of being grateful that someone cleaned my room and it was all nice and clean and I could actually walk in it, I was upset because I couldn't find anything. And mom was just like, well, fine then. I just won't clean your little funky room no more because you are tripping right now. And I was just trying to help your little stingy behind. But you know what? I'm not going to help you. You do it your own self. And it better be clean next week because I'm sick of looking at it at this point. So, that's something I just have to work on. I have to watch out for. And I need to do better in implementing it in my life. I don't really implement it that much into my life. I'm just always trying to do everything myself, like literally everything by myself. So it helps when you ask people for help. It helps when you take the time to just see if someone else can help you in some kind of way. Okay. So, and lastly is physical touch. All right. Physical touch is very low on the list for me because I didn't grow up with those hugs or really with anyone touching me. Like I was always by myself, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have like a sibling hanging all over me or me hanging all over my parent or anything like that. Like I didn't have that. So when I've been in relationships now where people like try to like caress my arm or something, like I'm really flinchy, and one of my partners was like, yo, like you gotta stop flinching when I touch you because you're gonna make people think that I'd be like hitting you or something. And I was like, I mean, it's not that, like, and I've never experienced abuse in that way. So it doesn't come from that, it just comes from not having the frequency of touch around me to the point where I'm used to it. So I'm used to just being in my own bubble. So if someone starts to impede on my bubble, my natural response is to like start moving. And I see it all the time when I'm talking to people like at work or something, and they're one of those touchy feely people, and they're just like, girl. And my immediate reaction is just like a jump back. And they're just like, oh, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. It's just like something that's in me, and it's something I need to work on because no one's here to hurt me. And not that I think anyone's here to hurt me. It's just I'm not used to people penetrating my energy without me already knowing that that's going to happen, without me being like, oh yeah, but if I'm drunk or something, like it's nothing. I'm probably hella touchy feely or whatever because I'm just allowing myself to be. Because I'm such a control freak, it's hard for me to just allow things to be sometimes. And so that's something I have to work on. It really is. And that doesn't mean that I don't partake in sexual activities though, because I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those things still happen, but I'm still in my own bubble, So that's why it's so hard for me to allow people that I'm not emotionally attached to insert my bubble for sexual encounters, So that's just like a whole thing for me. But it's something I gotta work on, but I also feel like it's something that is not at the top of the list to work on because I don't like everybody touching me. And there's a lot of people like that. I don't want you to just feel so comfortable just to touch me all the time. But if you're my friend and stuff, I do want you to feel comfortable to tap me on the shoulder or just laugh and hit me on the leg or something like that. Because even my friends be like, is it okay to give you a hug? And I'm just like, yes, like you can give me a hug. And now all my friends, we know like when they see me or I see them, we just automatically give each other a hug. But starting off, they were definitely just like, hug or no. So it's come a long way, but it is still a work in progress for me. So yes, you guys, those are all of my love languages. I hope you guys got some laughs out of me and my little life I got going on over here. So I hope that this topic really helps you to just see yourself and see what love looks like for yourself, how you can bring more of it to yourself, how you can allow yourself to feel the love languages that you want other people to give to you and that you might want to give to other people. So yeah, that's been our last fellowship hour of the season. We're going to go ahead and get into our last lab, take all of this knowledge with our experiences and marry it so we can get some wisdom, y'all. Let's head over there. All right, so these questions are pretty self-explanatory, and if you didn't already do this leading up to the episode, at least you have the episode information now so that you can go back and answer these questions. So number 1 is, what are your 5 love languages, okay? Number 2, how do you express your top love language to yourself? Or love languages. If you want to do like the top 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, how do you express those love languages to yourself? Number 3, in what ways can you add more self-love to your daily life? All that information we just went over, how can you enhance your self-love through your love languages every day? All right, this one's going to take a lot of action on you guys' part, and I'm going to hold you to it, okay? Number 4, make a to-do list for next week to be a self-love language week by partaking in a self-love language activity every day for 5 days. I'm gonna read that again. Make a to-do list for next week to be a self-love language week by partaking in a self-love activity every day for 5 days. So it can be Monday through Friday. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like whatever the case is. It doesn't even have to be consecutively or at one time, but within that week, pick 5 days where you're going to express your love languages, each one of them, to yourself the way that you want to feel them, even if they are low on the list. Because being low on the list doesn't mean that it's something that you don't want to experience. It's just something that isn't the biggest priority to you. So experience them all, see how they make you feel, and let me know how it goes. I hope it makes you feel really, really loved so that you can start attracting the love that you deserve, okay? Now we're going to get into my favorite part of the show, which is the meditation portion called A Moment. Hey y'all, thank you for joining me for a moment meditation. We're going to go ahead and get right on into it. If you have not been a part of a meditation with me before, I go through a method for about a minute. It's like a breathing technique. And then for the rest of the time, I let you just fall into your subconscious, okay? So the method that I go through is called the EAR method that I created. It stands for E, embrace. So you're going to embrace your thoughts while you're inhaling a breath. A is for accept. So you're going to hold your breath and accept the thoughts that have come in. And then R is for release. You're going to release your thoughts as you exhale the breath that we inhaled and held. Okay. So when you are breathing, I want you to remember to try to breathe from your diaphragm and your stomach area and not necessarily your chest area. Like, of course, we have to use our lungs and things of that nature, but you want to make sure that you're getting your deep breaths from your stomach. So when you inhale, your stomach expands. When you hold, of course, your stomach doesn't do anything. And then when you exhale, your stomach contracts back. Okay? Before we get started, I want to go ahead and clear the energy, clear your space. So I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in, hold it, and release. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and release. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. All right. I want you to inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. One more time. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. The rest of the time will be for you to dive into your subconscious, all right? All right, you guys, I hope you had a great meditation. Before I let you go and you link back up with other Katera, I want to just give you some tips real quick. Sometimes I get fidgety in my meditations and I can feel myself moving my fingers around, or I might want to check the time or something. Allow all of that to happen. Embrace that if that happens to you. Don't feel like you have to be, it's like just stone cold straight, no movement. Things will happen. Sometimes I laugh through my meditation. So if you caught me smirking, it's because just different thoughts come up in my head that make me laugh. So there's just different things that happen in your meditation. I just want you to know that whatever your meditation practice looks like, is perfect for you. It doesn't have to look like everyone else's. So if you felt like you were not that successful in this meditation because you didn't finish, or you were fidgety, or you were thinking about things that made you laugh, just know that you were 100% efficient and you did exactly what needed to be done because you grounded yourself so that you can be present throughout the rest of your day. Okay? So I will see you guys in the next clip. Toots. Welcome back, everybody, from your nice little meditation you just had. I hope that you got to reflect on your love languages and really see what is for you and how they make you feel, okay? So, without further ado, this season has been so great. Like I said, I can't thank you guys enough for coming every single week, every Sunday, and just putting yourself first. Loving on yourself, healing on yourself, and helping yourself is the only way that you're going to help yourself grow and achieve the things that you want. Okay, so thank you guys for listening to my stories. Thank y'all for just doing the work. I couldn't be happier, honestly. I really couldn't. Like I said, the next episodes for season 3 will not be far behind this one. There will definitely be a trailer that I will release to let you know you can expect season 3, episode 1 on this particular date. I just don't have the date at this very moment, but you will have it. And you can always keep up with me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube at The Emotional Workshop. Okay. And if you've been watching this on Spotify, go y'all. You can also see the polls that I have left at the end of each episode. So please answer them. Let me know what you think, how you feeling. And yeah, please engage with me on YouTube too. Leave a comment, or on the social media platforms of IG, Facebook, or TikTok. Just let me know how you guys are enjoying the show. If it impacted you in any kind of way, any of your answers for the lab questions, and all other things that you just want to share. I'm here to listen, okay? Stay tuned for some cute little surprises I have coming in the future that I would love for you guys to partake in. And again, I just want to say thank y'all. Thank you for being you, and thank you for showing up to continue to be you, all right? Without further ado, I hope that you guys have a fulfilling time until I see you again, and that you do something that makes you feel extremely loved this week and next week and the week after and the week after, and you do those 5 love languages for 5 days next week, okay? All right. I love y'all so much, and I hope to see you guys in the next session for season 3, where we have a lot of pretty cute little treats I'm gonna bring, okay? I'll holla at you guys later. Bye.